Good afternoon, family. Thanks for checking out today's video. If you're new here, my name is Jonathan, and I created this channel as a way to record my progress as I work towards my goal of losing 300 pounds in 3 years. If you'd like to join the family, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. Also, click on the bell icon so you get alerted when I go live or post new videos. And if you'd like to participate on the discussion, like all the wonderful people in here right now, you can join me most weekdays where I go live on YouTube at 4 p.m. Central Time. Or if you want to reach out to me outside of YouTube, you could consider joining the Discord I created. There is a link for that down in the description below. Also down in the description below is a link to a Pinterest board. Many times people ask me what I'm eating to lose weight or what kind of foods or recipes we would suggest on our diet. And that Pinterest board is a great place to check out the meals that we have been enjoying. Today is day 794 of my 3-year challenge to lose 300 pounds. I've used a combination of extended water fasting and a whole food, plant-based, salt, oil, sugar-free diet to lose over 235 pounds so far. I've got just under 10 months to go to lose the remaining 64 pounds, and I'm looking forward to reaching my goal this year and living out the rest of my life at a healthy weight. If anybody has any non-scale victories they'd like to share, I'd love to hear your non-scale victories. If you have any on-scale victories, I love hearing those as well. If you are succeeding with your diet, what are you doing to succeed? What is working for you? If you're struggling with it, what do you feel like is causing your struggles? And what are some of the things that you're going to start doing that will make staying on your diet easier than the alternative? Let's go ahead, switch over to the main here. Hello. I hope you all had a wonderful evening. I got started a little bit late, but we do have a bunch of people checking in here. Cindy and Rick and Pretty Girl's Mom and Christy and Plants Only Muncher and Anthony and Ron and Our Tiny Acres. Thank you guys all for checking out today's video. I appreciate it a ton. Cindy here is asking if, she says, I wonder if Carrie hid the tent from John. I'm sure she will. I don't know that I need to wear that shirt anymore, I suppose, but yes, that tent was massive. Somebody had suggested in the comments afterwards that we should turn it into a dog bed, and I thought that was kind of funny, or like a dog pillow. I thought that was kind of funny, but yes, when we were actually going through some clothing last night trying to find some of the new clothes I have, I don't know what happened to some of the Christmas clothing I got, but I do have some things that actually fit a little bit nicer. And I actually got a new t-shirt for work that is a 2XL. I haven't actually tried it on, but so I'm a little bit nervous to try on a 2XL shirt, but even if it doesn't fit, it should be close and it will fit at some point in the near future. So I'm going to have to try that out and give it a shot here. Christy here says that you're doing the Well Your World January challenge to reestablish some good habits. That's great. And I hope that that's working out well for you. Anything you can do to kind of work on those healthy habits and making those things become habits, become natural, eating healthy food and making the changes. That's awesome that you're doing that. Let's go ahead and see what I took for food photos. If anybody is following on the Discord last night, I did post the dinner from last night on the Discord there because it was Mega Veggie Chili Monday, but let me go ahead and pull this up. I didn't take a lot of photos. Surprise, surprise. So this was dinner last night, Mega Veggie Chili. I had a couple bowls of this last night. Excuse me. And it was wonderful. The you know, we fight with our kids trying to get them to eat this. They go back and forth. A couple of our kids enjoy it. A couple of our kids, I think, just don't want to like it just out of principle, so they don't even try it anymore. But it's a great meal. And the thing I always share with when I talk about Mega Veggie Chili, and it's something that if you guys are just starting this way of eating and you're trying to get used to these flavors, you have to understand that it takes time for your taste buds to adjust to these new flavors, or the food that you're eating that's lacking so much of the processed foods or the highly dopamine stimulating chemicals and like the salt, oil, and sugar that is added to most food, you know, whereas if you're just getting it from natural sources, it takes time for you to adapt to that. So this is a recipe that we have been enjoying since we started eating this way. This is one of the only recipes I would say that has lasted through the entire 790 days of this challenge. And when we first had this meal, I did not like it at all. I just ate it because I was like, you know what? I just have to eat this food and I'm supposed to be eating this food. So I'm going to eat this food. Even if I don't like it, I'm going to eat it because that's what I'm supposed to do. And then after eating this way for 2 or 3 weeks, we had this recipe again. And I can remember eating the bowl and just being like, oh my God, what is this? This is amazing. You've never made anything so wonderful. And Carrie was like, well, this is the Mega Veggie Chili that we've had 2 or 3 times already. And that's when that taste adaptation, the actual, that realization that it actually exists and that it is a thing, that's when it hit me, was with this meal. So, that's what I have to say with this diet, really with any diet, that you're getting rid of the highly processed foods and the added salts and the added oils and the added sugars. That good food, healthy food is not going to taste wonderful if you're going from that type of food to this type of food. But over time, your body naturally adapts to those flavors, and it starts to realize that there's nutrients in this food that you really need. And so it kind of creates this signal feedback where you eat food that you may not think tastes the best, but then when your body gets it and realizes how much, how much nutrients are in it that you need, then your body sends a signal back to your brain and says, hey, when that gets brought back to us, it's actually pretty good and we need it. And so it causes your taste buds to adjust towards those types of foods. But it takes time for it to happen. It's not immediate. Your eyeballs will adjust within 30 seconds if you go from a bright room to a dark room. Your taste buds do not adjust that quickly. They take much longer. And then the other food photo I took is not actually dinner from last night. I took some sneak peek photos of dinner that Carrie is making for dinner tonight, I believe. I'll be very shocked if we don't have these beet burgers for dinner tonight. But she put together these beet burgers last night and was working on that. So that should be our dinner for this evening, if I'm not mistaken. And I think I did take a photo of today's oatmeal. Not the most appetizing picture of oatmeal. We had run out of our steel cut oats and our oat groats. So Carrie had some sort of quick oats, I think is what they were called. Not near as good as the oat groat steel cut oat mix that we normally have, but it was very filling. Like I definitely felt like there was a larger volume of food or oatmeal with my breakfast this morning. And maybe Carrie just ate less because she didn't like it as much. But this is a sweeter oatmeal as well. This has got bananas and apples in it. That was breakfast today. Did not take any photos of lunch, but I had my standard or my regular potatoes and broccoli. I think it was like 4 or 5 potatoes, and then I actually am in the middle of eating the last potato here that was just all lonely in the Instapot. We ate everything else with the broccoli, and there was just one lonely potato left. So that has kind of been my snack this afternoon or this evening since I was there. Cindy here says that you think that Mega Veggie Chili is your favorite meal. That's awesome. Yes, I enjoy it. I love it. And it's not going to beat out the white bean and polenta for me right now, but it is definitely up there. And really, like, all of our meals are so diverse that they're like, I like so much about all of the meals, you know, like the stewed chickpeas we had the other day was amazing. The red lentils and sweet potatoes that we ate a bunch in December, amazing. The barley soup that we've been having, also amazing. Like those are all foods that if I had to pick, I'd have a hard time picking one over the other because they have such great flavors and wonderful attributes of each of their each of the meals themselves has their own specific attributes that I like so much about them. So today, one of the things I wanted to talk about was setting your weight loss goals and what kind of atmosphere or environment do your goals create after you set them with your diet. When you are first starting and contemplating getting started with your diet, you're going to set some goals in your mind. You're going to say, hey, I want to do this diet for X amount of time, or I want to lose X amount of weight while I'm losing, or by that certain time. Carrie's checking in saying, hey, Carrie, I was showing them some pictures of those beet burgers that you were working on last night. I think that's what was for dinner tonight, but anyways, we're just chilling here. They think that you hid the red shirt I was wearing yesterday. They're wanting to know if you hid or burned that as well. So setting your goals, and like when you set your goal, the goal that you set is that the gauge by how serious you are? You know, if your goal is to just lose weight for the next week, you know, is it as serious as your goal to lose weight for the next 3 months? Or if your goal is to lose 20 pounds, do you take it as seriously as if you set your goal to lose 100 pounds? But when you're trying to succeed, I think for me, what I have found is that my success came from setting goals that were far beyond my actual expectations or what I thought that I could do. Because a lot of times, you know, we set these goals to get back to some place where we've already been. Like, I want to get to the weight I was when I graduated high school. I want to get to the weight I was when I graduated college or back before I had kids, you know. And you set this goal to become that weight that you used to be. But in my case, when I look back and I set that goal to be a weight that I used to be, I'm still left as a very overweight, unhealthy individual in many cases. And So like me getting back to the weight that I graduated high school at, that's 300 pounds. Like being 300 pounds is much better than being 519.8 pounds, but it's not ideal. There's not people running around saying, oh my God, I wish I could be that somebody who weighed 300 pounds like that guy. Um, but it's in my head, it's a goal I can achieve because I was already there at one point. I was already at 325 pounds when I was 25 years old. Why wouldn't I be able to get back to 325 pounds? But when you do that, you're just trying to get back and relive this old glory, or you're focusing too much on the past and really not enough on your future and what you want for your future. Um, and Our Tiny Acres here says your doctors want you even less than you think you should go, and so you will see. Yeah, it's tough though to wrap your head around becoming a weight that you have almost convinced yourself was unhealthy. Like my goal weight of being 220 pounds, I had convinced myself that if I was actually 220 pounds, if I actually got to 220 pounds, I would be skin and bones and emaciated and unhealthy. And reality is, when I get to 220 pounds, I'm not going to be emaciated. In comparison to 520 pounds, I may look emaciated, but at 220 pounds, I'm still going to be plenty. I'm going to weigh plenty for somebody who's my height and my age. And so when you're setting your goals, you need to set these goals that almost seem unrealistic. And it's something that I did, and I don't know if it was it was, I guess it was almost by accident that it happened when I started this challenge. But I wanted to do something extreme. I wanted to do something that I didn't think was possible. And when you have that goal that is out there, just past possible, then you continue to fight to try to reach that goal that's just past possible, because it's like a dog chasing a rabbit around a track. Like if it's faster, it's going to keep chasing it. And the second your goal slows down, or the second you create a goal that you can achieve, and once you see it and it's in sight, you let up and you start to slow down, and there's not that drive that was there when you first got started with your diet. And so, because I could have done that at any point when I started my channel, I could have set different goals. I could have said, I want to lose 150 pounds. And I did that in the first 6-7 months, and if that was my goal, I'd be done. And then did I achieve? Did I win? Did I, am I still that 150 pounds down if that's all my goal was? If my goal was to just get to 350, that's another awesome goal, going from 519.8 pounds to 350 pounds. That's an amazing amount of weight to lose. But it's still not a good enough goal. And because my goal is 219 pounds, it's caused me to become even more driven as time goes on. And instead of trying to find the cheats in my diet and the way to bring in extra foods or to get around the diet, I'm leaning into the diet. And I'm trying to tweak it so that I'm changing myself to the diet and not trying to change the diet to fit what I want here. Our Tiny Acres, you said that they want you to 110 pounds. You were that height and weight in middle school before you had kids. Yeah, everybody's bodies builds different. I couldn't imagine being 110 pounds. But if they think you can get there, then and as long as you're not feeling deprived, like that's the one thing that Rick here says he has one leg that size. Yes, I feel the same way. I have a leg that size as well. That as long as you're getting to eat an abundance of food still, and that's what I would say, I guess, and you're being satisfied. And I know you're eating a great diet. Carrie says, right, would you have just stopped at that? Yeah, if I had said 350 was my goal, then do I stop at 350? Do I keep trying to lose weight past 350, or am I sitting here doing a channel where I'm maintaining that 170-pound weight loss and showing how to do that? But instead, I picked a goal that was unachievable. And I'm continuing to work towards achieving that unachievable goal. And there's some books and motivational things I've read recently, and they talk about the same thing with money. Like if your money goal is to have $100, let's say your money goal is to have $10,000 in the bank account, that instead of making your goal to have $10,000 in your bank account, you should make your goal to have $50,000 in your bank account, because then you'll start working towards that goal. And the start is the same, whether your goal is to lose 20 pounds or 200 pounds, that startup is the same. The same with making money, whether your goal is to earn $10,000 or earn $50,000, that initial getting going is the same. It's that drive, how fast were you wanting to earn that $10,000? Were you wanting to do it in the first year? Well, if you're trying to make $50,000 in a year, then you're going to make $10,000 within the first 3 months, and so it changes it changes the whole environment because of the goal that you set at the beginning. If I'd have said my goal was to lose 100 pounds, I would have done what I had to do to lose 100 pounds, and then it would be over. But my goal was to lose 300 pounds. So I pushed really hard to see how much I could lose to start. And I lost 100 pounds within the first 50 days of this diet. And so I would have been done less than 2 months in. I'd have been done. And I wouldn't have learned anything. I would have learned that I could lose a lot of weight very quickly. I already knew I could kind of do that because of my experience in the past. The one thing that I've never done is maintained a weight loss and been able to have serious weight loss that was sustainable. And that is what the challenge that I put in front of myself: to lose 300 pounds, an unrealistic amount of weight. To stick to a diet for 3 years, an unrealistic amount of time in my mind when I started this, to stick to any diet for 3 years. But now that I've been eating this way for the past over 2 years, I understand that 3 years is the minimum amount of time that I need to eat this way to get to my goal weight. And if I want to stay at my goal weight and maintain that weight the rest of my life, then this way of eating is the way I have to eat the rest of my life. And I'm excited to do that. It's the first time I've ever been more than, a couple weeks into a diet and been like, I'm excited to continue to eat this way forever. When I was doing keto diets, after the first 2 weeks, after the first 3 weeks, I'm like, I'm sick of this food. I don't want this anymore. I want something different. That's not the case. 794 days in, and I am still eating the same food that I ate on day 52, on day 85. The oatmeal's the same. The potatoes are the same. The mega veggie chili is the same. These recipes are so amazing, but you have to set goals that you don't think you can achieve, because you have to kind of give yourself that underdog too. You have to go into this with a little bit of the world doesn't believe I can do it. or I don't believe I can do it, like, because when you go in with that uncertainty, it makes you work even harder to succeed. And that's what I felt like I've been doing here for the last 2 years, is succeeding because I set goals that I didn't think were realistic. And I thought, they were almost clickbaity, when I started this challenge, lose 300 pounds in 3 years, like nobody loses that much weight. Nobody sticks to a diet that long. Well, let me show you how it's done. And that's what this channel is. So, our Tiny Acre says you found that you love eating this way. Yes, I absolutely love eating this way. I love that I get to eat this food and there's such an abundance of it, and it fits so many of those categories that I was missing when I was doing these other diets. And it's the volume of food thing. Like, if I yeah, I can't imagine it almost seems impossible to me now for somebody to go into a grocery store and grab a random sampling of the food throughout the grocery store and eat that and come out a healthy weight. I just don't think that our world it's trending the other direction. That if you go out into the world and you eat a random sampling of the food that's available, you're going to come back overweight. And we have to be conscious of the food that we're putting in your mouth. Amy Smith here says, I love eating this way too. You love that you can eat so much food and still consistently have a loss each week, and all the new foods and recipes there are to try. Yes, it's amazing that you get to eat so much food, and I don't worry about the food making me fatter. Like, even if I overeat and my scale says I'm a pound heavier today than I was yesterday, I know that it's just that I have a pound more of food in my my digestive tract. And not that I'm a pound heavier because of some fat I ate, like there's such little amount of fat in the food that I eat that I'm not gonna get fat from the food I eat anymore. Like, you are what you eat, and I'm this amazing food that I eat now. And Carrie says here, yes, I love all the flavors that were never a part of my standard American diet. Yes, that's another thing too that people don't really you don't understand, is that I talk about there being this taste adaptation that happens, but what I feel like the diet that I used to eat was so heavily covered in salt and in sugar that I was just tasting different shades of salt and different shades of sugar when I was eating these foods. I wasn't eating and getting actual flavors from the foods. I used to say things like I hated the way celery tasted. I hated the way cucumber tasted. I hated the way a lot of these vegetables tasted. And it's because they didn't give me the dopamine response that I was used to from all the other crap that I was eating. Now, when I eat food, I look forward to the celery and the cucumber and all of those vegetables that I never would have even considered trying before. And it's awesome that I've really been able to experience this diet this way, and to see it, and to find that it's that what they're saying is actual reality. I didn't go into this planning on eating a plant-based diet, and I kind of jumped into it just blindly. after reading the Pleasure Trap book, but uh, everything that they've said was going to happen and all these other books say are going to happen are happening. And so Cindy says, were you into veggies before eating this way? No, not at all. If I had veggies before, it was on accident, is what I've said. If I went to a fast food restaurant and the burger had tomato and lettuce on it, immediately remove the lettuce and tomato. Yeah, the extent of my vegetable consumption was when I would order a supreme pizza from one of the pizza places and it had all of the meats and all of the veggies on it. That would be my vegetables. And Carrie says that I would not even take a serving of veggies at dinner to set a good example for the kids. Yes, I was not a good example for the kids. I would, I used to hate rice. Rice was a big food that I would never even try. It's just amazing to me because I eat rice by the pounds now. But like when we go to a Mexican restaurant and order a burrito that came with a side of rice and beans, I would say, I don't want any rice. Give me 2 sides of beans. Yes, anti-veggie for sure, Carrie says. Yeah, so I was not. Never. Yeah, it was a waste of stomach space filling it with the vegetables. What are you talking about? Yeah. So no, not at all. I didn't have any love for vegetables. I was processed foods on top of processed foods on top of processed foods. I guess I'm lying though. If you fried the vegetable, I'd probably eat it. I mean, I would eat pickles because, they were salt, but, fried pickles, fried mushrooms, fried cauliflower, fried okra, all those things I would have. Yeah. If you fry the vegetable, I would eat it. But Rick here says meat lover pizza ruled your house. Oh yes, I was a meat lover pizza guy, especially like in college and stuff. I had a whole thing where I would order meat lover pizzas with cheese in the crust and just the worst. Like, oh man. Just thinking that, yeah, extra cheese. Yes. Yeah. Get it. Stuffed crust, extra cheese, get rid of some of the green peppers. You got to get rid of the green peppers, because those are awful. No reason to have those on anything, but on a meat lover, it wouldn't be. Anyways, that was the old me. Now the new me is excited about going and having beet burgers for dinner. Like, how crazy is that about trying a new recipe? Anthony says ranch dip. Yes, ranch dip. There was a period in time where I think I was dipping everything that I put in my mouth in ranch before it was going into my mouth. So, yes, all kinds of horrible food. I don't know if we're just listing awful foods now. Is that what we're just list all the things we shouldn't be eating? Yes. But really just my now back to reality. Yes, folks, back to reality. Let's get out our potatoes and our broccoli, which I would argue taste just as good as many of those things that you're talking about there. And consistently good too, over time. It's amazing. And with many of those things, like, there's nothing you're really tasting other than like the fried, the oil that it's cooked in, or the salt that's used to make the cheese to it, kind of things. And it's all just crazy how we get sucked into it. And it's amazing that we're able to that we can produce these foods. But Our Tiny Acre says that you've never had ranch because you're allergic to dill, which would be kind of, disappointing on this diet. There's a couple things we have with dill, but you can live without it. Obviously you are. And, but yeah, I don't know if I've heard of anybody being allergic to dill. Yeah, Carrie says she loves dill. Yes. So anyways, back at it. The two biggest parts of this challenge that have driven me to my success has been those unrealistic goals. It's been the doing this for 3 years, and it's the losing 300 pounds. You know, when I started this, it felt unrealistic. Staying on track for that long, both seemed unrealistic as well. But because I haven't seen that finish line, I haven't let up off the gas pedal. Like I guess I have, but imagine had I already reached my goal, you know, or I set my goal to be 275 pounds and I was only 8 pounds away. I wouldn't be as focused as I am now that I'm still 60 pounds away. And when I get closer to my goal, I might move that bar even further away. I might say, hey, you know what? Maybe 210 is possible or under 200 is possible. But going into this, that was not even a consideration. The idea that I would go even lower was like just ridiculous, because to me, getting to 220 pounds seems so unrealistic. Yeah, Carrie says that is a bummer. We actually, I don't know if she meant to say do not eat much dill. Yeah. But when we do, Carrie says she splurges on tzatziki sauce. Yeah, we haven't had that for a long time. But that I think is what's in the sweet potato casserole that we've had in the past. So yeah, I think that is going to be about it for me today. Tomorrow is Wednesday. I am not going to be doing a weigh-in Wednesday until I get rid of this 15-pound arm brace that I have on. I am not going to do hey, Sarasota, Florida, how's it going? I'm not going to be doing a weigh-in this week. I'm hoping to do a weigh-in next week, and it should be fine. We had tzatziki on falafels, Carrie was saying. We haven't had falafels in a long time either. Cindy says now it's a 15-pound brace. Well, 15, 16 pounds. It's getting there. And Barb says, if you keep eating this way, you will drop below 220 with or without setting another goal. Yeah, that's what I'm realizing as I do this, and I've been eating this way. And, it's such a cliche thing to say that it's not a diet, it's a lifestyle. But once I realized that it was my lifestyle or has become my lifestyle, I've also realized that I could end up losing a boatload of weight and I could get real thin, Carrie says now she needs to make falafels. Yeah, as long as I continue to eat this way, I'm going to continue to lose weight, and I'm going to continue to get until I get to a healthy weight. Like there's really, like I've said a few times here, I think the last couple, you are what you eat. I truly believe that you are what you eat. And I am eating just an incredibly nutritious, healthy, low calorie dense diet. And I'm hoping that makes me a healthy, low fat person. Our Tiny Acre says that you found the creamy recipes that your friend gave you. If you use sweeter sweet potatoes, you may need less maple syrup. Oh, Anthony, no, I actually had no. I tore my bicep tendon. I know you've been around for a while here. I'm pretty sure you were here at least the recovery of when I tore my left distal bicep tendon, this one over here. So where the, see if where the bicep tendon attaches to the forearm. I had torn my left distal bicep tendon in August or July of 2021, and then last month I tore my right distal bicep tendon. So I have nifty piece of equipment here. So my arm is locked in a 90-degree angle, and I got to do all the rehab stuff. So kind of a pain in the butt. Carrie says thanks. That we're sticking to the pineapple ice cream until we cannot eat it anymore. We just love it. And it's yeah, I really like the pineapple out of the creamy. It's really good. And then, oh, this one is blue this time and not red, though. Carrie says that we have a whole set of arm braces. So yeah, I'm hoping that I'm going to start creating a cosplay character, and I'm going to use these as like my exoskeleton arms. I'm going to attach like laser beams and stuff to them. So, you know, I'm hoping that someday I will have robot arms is what I'm hoping for. So, yes, it is something I'm dealing with. So anyways, I appreciate you guys for following along. I will be live again tomorrow. If there's anything that you want me to talk about on these videos, or to do a separate video on something, please let me know. I'm looking for ideas to do maybe some videos outside of the live streams. So if anybody has any recommendations, I'd love to hear that. But I appreciate you guys for following along. If you have not subscribed to the channel, make sure that you do get subscribed to the channel. If you've not clicked on the bell icon, click on that bell icon so you get alerted when I go live or post new videos. If you have not hit the thumbs up and commented down below, do that as well. I would greatly appreciate it. And if you have not started your diet yet, get started right now. There's nothing coming up that's more important than your health and your overall well-being. Nobody gets to their goal, looks back and says, man, I can't believe I was in such a hurry to get started. I wish I would have waited. Why was I in such a hurry to lose all that weight? Nobody does that. Anybody who reaches their goals looks back and says, man, I wish I would have started this 6 months sooner, a year sooner, 10 years sooner. You know, everybody wishes they would have started sooner. So thank you guys so much for following along, and I will be live again tomorrow.